how that singular focus will reshape our galaxy.
Just answer the question.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the questions the Disney Plus series Ahsoka answered.
It is an unfortunate evil, but speaks to a greater truth. One must destroy in order to create.
Number 7. Is it possible to travel to other galaxies? We've long heard the opener,
A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away.
Heck, we've even heard it on this show. But what about in a galaxy right next to that galaxy far, far away? Indeed, we've spent so much time hanging out in this galaxy that we've seldom wondered about another one. And once we learned that Ezra and Thrawn were taken out of the galaxy, we immediately wondered if it was possible to travel such a distance.
This place was not built by the Jedi. Whose work is it?
An ancient people from a distant galaxy. Would you like to see it?
Obviously, the Purrgil have such capabilities. But can people on ordinary spacecraft with hyperspace components? It turns out, yes, as Nightsister Morgan Elsbeth has constructed a hyperspace ring called the Eye of Sion, which is successful in transporting her and her team to Peridia.
The Jedi Archive spoke of this place. It was the end of the migration route used by the Star Whales as they traversed the void from one galaxy to the other.
Number 6. What caused Sabine and Ahsoka's falling out?
I realized there was more to it. There was something else I was meant to do. Ezra's out there somewhere, and it's time to bring him home.
After the fall of the Empire, Rebels ends with Sabine going off with Ahsoka to find Ezra. But by the time we see Ahsoka again in The Mandalorian, she's once again on her own. So a big question we had going into this series was what exactly caused the two to go their separate ways?
There is nothing easy about being a Jedi.
Well, then I should have made a good one.
Yes. You should have.
We learn in the early episodes that Ahsoka had actually begun training Sabine in the Jedi ways. But this didn't go very far, presumably due to Sabine's relatively weak connection with the Force. However, the finale finally reveals that Sabine was greatly affected by the Great Purge of Mandalore, and Ahsoka feared what she might become if she used her nascent abilities for revenge.
At the time, Ahsoka felt that if Sabine unlocked her potential, she would become dangerous.
Number 5. Did BAYLAN SKOLL know Anakin Skywalker? One of the most intriguing new characters Ahsoka introduced was BAYLAN SKOLL, played by the late great Ray Stevenson.
You're right about one thing, Captain. We are no Jedi.
Based on his age, we knew it was highly likely that BAYLAN would have been around for the Clone Wars and Order 66, him being a former Jedi. We also knew that Anakin Skywalker would somehow play a part, this show centering on his former Padawan.
Anakin never got to finish my training. Before the end of the Clone Wars, I walked away from him. And the Jedi.
So, with BAYLAN being a dark Jedi with a connected past, it made sense that he might have known Anakin to some degree. While he clearly didn't know Anakin well enough to have met Ahsoka back then, BAYLAN does reveal to her that Anakin spoke highly of her.
Anakin spoke highly of you.
Interesting. He never mentioned you.
Number 4. Could a human be a Nightsister?
At last, you have returned, and you are safe again.
First appearing in the Clone Wars TV show, the Nightsisters introduced a mystical side of Star Wars not often seen. They primarily hailed from the planet Dathomir, whose dark energies they could manipulate into magic. This being a specific sect, it made sense that all the Nightsisters were Dathomirians as a species, but we never knew if that was a prerequisite for harnessing their magical abilities. Apparently not.
What was this place?
An ancient temple built by my ancestors. The Nightsisters of Dathomir.
You're a witch.
Morgan Elsbeth, first introduced in The Mandalorian, is a human who was previously a member of the Nightsisters before they were massacred. How Elspeth came to be a member of the Dathomirians is unclear, but she definitely retains some of her abilities.
You speak of dreams, vague and fractured hopes.
The threads of fate do not lie.
Number 3. Has Ahsoka met Anakin's Force Ghost?
I didn't expect to see you so soon.
At the end of Return of the Jedi, after Darth Vader is killed and the Empire is defeated, Anakin's Force Ghost appears at the celebration on Endor. And in video releases since 2004, he's played by Hayden Christensen. Knowing that Anakin's Force Ghost is out there, we wondered if he might have ever popped by to check on his former Padawan.
Mentoring someone is a challenge. I bet your master found you difficult at times.
At the end of the 4th episode, Ahsoka returns to the world between worlds, where she's greeted by our former master.
You look the same.
You look old.
It's a great moment as we finally get to see these two together in live action, but Ahsoka's comment about Anakin's appearance leads us to believe this is their first reunion since his death. Number 2. Can Sabine use the Force? After the Rebels finale teased that Ahsoka might train Sabine, the Ahsoka series confirmed it, but with the caveat that Sabine's connection to the Force is fairly weak. Far weaker than the average Jedi, in fact.
I have known many Padawans over the centuries, and I can safely say your aptitude for the Force would fall short of them all.
Throughout the series, we see Sabine trying in vain to summon the Force, even on something as innocuous as a cup. But in classic Star Wars fashion, Sabine finally taps into it during the most dire of circumstances. When she and Ezra are facing off against the zombified stormtroopers, she's able to save herself from being suffocated by drawing in her lightsaber. Shortly after, Sabine and Ezra pull off a classic Rebels move when the former Force pushes the ladder across the divide and onto Thrawn's ship.
Go!
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Where are Ezra and Thrawn?
Where is your master? Where is Grand Admiral Thrawn?
This was the ultimate question leading into this series, as we were promised a resolution to the cliffhanger that ended Rebels. As you'll recall, Ezra indirectly defeated Thrawn and his forces by compelling the Purrgil to take them all through hyperspace.
And remember, the Force will be with you, always.
With the Purrgil being mysterious creatures already, it was anyone's guess as to where they all went. In the first episode of Ahsoka, the title character uncovers a map that leads to an extragalactic planet known as Peridia, where the Purrgil go to die. When all of our heroes and villains arrive on the planet, we're finally reunited with not only Thrawn, who's gathering forces, but also with Ezra, who has since ingratiated himself with the native Noti population.
Sure took you long enough.
Well, you didn't exactly tell any of us where you were going.
That's because I didn't know where I was going.
Typical. Always a plan. Never a good one.
What questions do you still need answered? Make yourself heard in the comments.
Ezra is where he needs to be. And so are we.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.